Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, and we got a streak going of my favorite people who I love so much. This woman has done so much for our community. Welcome to Bonnie Luna. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you, Greg. What a privilege to be here.
Oh, you are so awesome, and I could go on forever about how awesome you are. I'm so in love with you. No, not that way. I love all the things that Bonnie does for our community, and there's so many. But today, this is the time of year when you star. It's the time for the Magi performance from the Magi Fund. Tell me what's going to happen here at Christmas time for us with the Magi.
Well, we're really excited, Greg, because this is our 23rd year of putting
23
on
years
of being able to bring to the community the Magi Choral Festival, which of course is a fundraiser for the Magi Fund, which supports only two entities, and those are the Joseph House Center and the Christian Shelter. We're all about fundraising and giving money to those two organizations, who of course we believe are doing the most for those with the least. So being able to assist Joseph House and Christian Shelter is really our total mission.
They're just doing great work, and everyone realizes that.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So this event, when is it?
Well, we are always the weekend just before Thanksgiving, and so this year it is November 19th and 20th.
Oh, it's kind of a
Saturday,
little early. Okay.
depending on when Thanksgiving falls, that's
Right.
when we have our Magi Choral Festival. So Saturday, November 19th at 7 p.m., and then again on Sunday, November the 20th at 2 p.m. Our concerts are held at Wicomico High School Auditorium on Glen Avenue in Salisbury, and we are really excited about this year's program. We have wonderful musical talent for this concert. The National Christian Choir will be coming back to
They
perform.
are amazing.
They are truly amazing, and if there's anyone listening and watching today, Greg, who have never experienced one of the concerts with the National Christian Choir, they're missing one of, and forgive me for being biased, but they're missing probably one of the greatest events that takes place in the community of Salisbury throughout the year.
How do you get them? They're like A-list. Why would they come down here to Little Salisbury?
That invitation was extended in 2002, and so the National Christian Choir has been coming to Salisbury for all these years. They're an amazing organization. It's about 170 audition voices. They perform and sing with the National Christian Choir because their love for God and because of their love for singing, but they get no compensation whatsoever. And when they come over to Salisbury, they don't get anything other than the joy of coming over to this community. And I will tell you, Greg, this organization, the National Christian Choir, has such an affection and love for the people and the town of Salisbury. It is an amazing gift that they bring to us, but they come with such excitement and enthusiasm. And we're told by the choir that this is the favorite thing that they do all year long.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you that when they come, we don't pay them. We do provide some overnight accommodations for them on Saturday night, but many of the choir members choose to go out in the community and stay in what we call our host homes. So folks in Salisbury open up their homes to choir members, and they take them into their home for Saturday night and Sunday morning breakfast, and then bring them back over to Y High. Those that do not stay in a home, we provide some accommodation for them at the Hampton Inn here in Salisbury. But other than that, they get dinner on Saturday night. Dinner is provided by businesses in the community who donate food. Mount Air provides chicken, and
Wow.
so we're just really blessed. We give them dinner on Saturday evening, and we give them lunch on Sunday. And beyond that, it's all them giving to us. And over the last several years, because there's such a large group, their desire is to go to church on Sunday morning. They asked me, where can we go to church? We want to worship together as a group. And I said, no, you don't understand. I don't know of a church in Salisbury that can accommodate an extra 170 individuals.
Right, so it's like 200 people. Yeah, okay.
So many years ago, when they first came down here, we said, why don't we just have a worship service right at Y High in the auditorium, and we'll not only have the National Christian Choir members there, but we'll invite the community. So we have been doing that now since 2002.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, it is a wonderful ecumenical worship service. It's open to the community. It's 10:30 on Sunday morning, and it is just a traditional worship service.
Do they sing?
They sing, but not as a not as a performance.
As participants.
Okay. Yes, they will sing maybe one or two numbers, but mostly it's congregational singing.
Right.
So if you want to sing with the National Christian Choir, you can come to the worship service.
So I can put that on my resume.
Yes. But I tell you all that about the worship service for two reasons. One, we would love to have the community come and share that worship service with us. But also, since the first year that we held that worship service on Sunday morning, the National Christian Choir took up a free will offering from those in attendance. I assumed that it would be for them, since that would be all they would get.
Right.
But at the Sunday afternoon concert, they surprised the Magi Fund by giving that offering back.
Wow.
And they have been doing that ever since. And every year those offerings tend to grow.
Right. So
And
the money stays in the community.
It comes back to the Magi Fund.
Yeah.
And Greg, they have given as much as over $10,000 on one of those Sundays. Each year, they have a real goal themselves. They no longer just come with the idea that they'll give something at the Sunday morning in the Sunday morning offering, but that they have a goal of how much they want to give back to the Magi Fund. And last night, because I knew I was going to talk to you this morning, I took time to sit down and tally what they've given to us, and it's almost $90,000.
Wow.
Those are in the offerings. Now, in addition to what they do with their offerings on Sunday morning, when I make an appeal during the year for the Magi Fund, they're on our mailing list. Every one of those choir members, they give. And so it would be hard for me to tell you exactly how much they've given as a choir or choir members, but I'm sure over these 13 years, it's well over $100,000 that they have given back to the Magi Fund. So they're a phenomenal organization. They are fabulous people, and anybody that has not had the opportunity or the privilege of coming to hear them, they're missing something really terrific. We're told by most people that this is the highlight of their Christmas season.
Yeah.
This sets the tone
Yeah.
for the holiday. And I'm really concerned because can it go on forever?
Well, it has to, because people get so cynical about the holidays. And the thing about this event is, once you're filled with it, you can't be cynical from then on.
No, it really, and I should say that it is a Christmas concert. It
Right.
is Christmas music.
Right.
Now, in addition to the National Christian Choir, we have the Magi Children's Choir, which is really the anchor of,
Right.
of the Magi Choral Festival and has been since day one. So we have children from all over the shore, public schools, private schools, Christian schools, homeschooled children. Any child who loves to sing, wants to sing, has the opportunity to be part of the Magi Children's Choir. And typically it's well over 100 children in that choir. We've had as many as probably 160, 170 in the children's choir over the years. It all depends on how many schools choose to
Right.
join up with us. But if folks want to enjoy something angelic,
These
it's
people who say our kids are out of control and we've lost our youth, all they have to do is see this and they'll go, we're doing really well.
These are wonderful little
Very
children.
inspiring.
They're delightful.
Yeah.
And of course, in order to have that children's choir, we have to have a really dedicated, wonderful individual leading, and that person is Alice Wigfield. She has been with us since the very beginning of the Magi Fund and the Magi Choral Festival. Alice directs the children's choir and then has lots of assistants. We have wonderful public school teachers that take the time to work with the children within that school. It's not a school activity, so it's really extracurricular. Public school teachers do that. We have Sally Henson at Salisbury, East Salisbury
East
School.
Salisbury School, yeah.
A teacher at Glen Avenue, a teacher at Prince Street. Last year we had a drumming troupe from Prince Street. They stole the show. People loved them, and the people have been asking, "Are you going to have the drummers back?" So it's wonderful. And then each of those groups will perform individually, but the program begins with the two groups massed so that they perform together. It's not only a wonderful thing to hear, it's a wonderful thing to see. And then the conclusion of the Magi Choral Festival, we have a special ending, and I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You have to come and see it and hear it. But the Magi Children's Choir and the National Christian Choir will again come back for the finale.
Well, this thing
wonderful.
sells out all the time. I mean, it's a very popular ticket. So you're not here trying to sell tickets, but people tell me all the time.
Absolutely,
well, I understand.
am here to sell tickets.
But you're going to sell them all. But people tell me all the time, like, why didn't you remind me this thing was coming? You know, so we're trying to get the word out early so that people get this on their schedule and they won't have missed it.
We don't want anyone to miss it,
Right.
and we would love to have to turn folks away. But you know what? We have never done that. We make room somehow. I shouldn't say we.
Right.
God has always had a seat for everyone that has shown up. We try to sell all of our tickets in advance, but almost every year some wonderful individual who wasn't aware shows up at the door. And Marty Neat, who is the treasurer of the Magi.
Sponsor of this show from First Shore Federal, yes?
Yes, he's one of our corporate sponsors. Marty is always at the ticket window, and he just has those individuals sitting back waiting. And someone will come in who bought 5 tickets, but they're only going to use 4, and they want to give 1 back. And so Marty's able to take that ticket that gets turned back in, and or 2 or 3, whatever it is, and find a way for those individuals that haven't had a ticket in advance to get in to see the show. It's wonderful, and it's really important that that folks understand that the Magi Fund is an all-volunteer organization. Since day one, no one has gotten paid 1 penny for doing anything in the way of managing or providing for the Choral Festival.
Right.
The amazing thing about having an all-volunteer organization is that then we give 100% of every penny that we bring in to the Joseph House and the Christian Shelter. The funds are split 50-50 between the two. So 100%, you buy a ticket, that money goes to support
Right.
the agencies. You give a contributions, whether it's a business or an individual contribution, it all goes to those 2 organizations. Now, that's wonderful, but we do have expenses in providing the Choral Festival, and I tell people all the time, I ask for almost everything to be given to us, but I have not been able to convince the post office.
That darn federal government.
They want to be paid for those postage stamps. Anyway, we do have expenses, and the way we cover those expenses is by soliciting corporate sponsors.
Right.
We have fabulous corporate sponsors. Most of them have been with us since day one, and may I just name them?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, since the very beginning, we've had Pepsi Bottling Company.
The Hazel family were amazing for this thing, yeah.
Morgan Hazel was the first and only corporate sponsor that first year. And really, Morgan helped us launch this whole thing. Arby's has been with us
Hershey
since
family.
the second year.
Amazing, yeah.
Yes. Over the past several years, DeCarlo Precision Printing has come alongside us. But Mount Air has been one of our really has been our major sponsor, and came on very early in the history of the Magi Fund. Support us financially, provide chicken for us,
Right.
Do all those things. In the last few years, Chesapeake Shipbuilding has been one of our corporate sponsors. And then, of course, First Shore Federal. You mentioned that
Right.
already, but First Shore Federal has been with us. Dave Rogers was the honorary chairman when we founded
Great man.
the Magi Fund, and Marty has been our treasurer since the beginning. So those are our major sponsors, and I'm probably forgetting someone.
No, when I was editor of the Daily, one of my favorite photos of the year was Marty with Sister Mary Elizabeth and the big check.
Yes.
And we put it on the front page every year. And, the journalist among me would say, that's some hokey check presentation. Why is it going on the front page? And I would say, you have no idea who Sister Mary Elizabeth is and what the Joseph House does and the Magi, just how important all this is. And that gets reflected, and I'm just so glad that we got to do that for so long.
Yes, and Sister Mary Elizabeth, of course, the founder of Joseph House, is still missed today, but she loved the Magi Fund, and this I think was one of her favorite things in the holiday season.
She is someone who's still in my brain all the time.
Yes, she lives on. We talk about legacy. That's a legacy.
Yeah.
The woman devoted her life to giving to the poor and the homeless.
She was someone, when she talked to me, I would become so calm in her presence. It was the most amazing thing.
She did that to me also.
Yeah, and like everything she said, I remember every word she ever said to me. She had this power in this very humble way. It was just amazing.
Well, Greg, I think just her love for humanity.
Yeah.
And she didn't just love the poor, she loved the rich, and she loved everybody equally.
In her perception, she understood people.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
See, I'm making her cry. I knew this would happen.
Yes. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's talk about your award. You don't want to talk about this, I know, because you're humble. But, it's not toiling away in this thing, but doing this thing for so many years. And then year before last, you, the Magi Fund, won the Salisbury Award, which is the biggest local honor that we have. You must have been blown away by that.
well, I was more than blown away. I remember thinking, what is going on here? And I actually turned and started to leave the backstage.
All the photos, you were shocked.
And my husband, Louis, got a hold of me and said, where are you going? I said, I don't know, I'm just going.
I'm running.
I'm running. Because the two people that I admire most in this community was Sister Mary Elizabeth and David Greer.
Yeah.
And the two Salisbury Award ceremonies that I had attended were for those two individuals.
Wow.
And to even be anywhere near something that would have been given to those two individuals for their service was beyond my greatest. I mean, I could never have envisioned this, but I may have told you this once before, Greg. I remember, forgive the tears, you ran an article in the Independent a few weeks before the Magi Fund was presented with that award. And I remember standing in my kitchen reading the article and clicking off names of individuals who I thought
should win.
were worthy. Yes, absolutely. I was doing that, and
Your name was not on the list?
I would never ever, in my wildest imaginations, even remotely considered that would happen. And it is a huge honor, and it is extremely humbling. It is extremely humbling, and I know that someone else is going to get that award very, very soon, and it's so exciting to know.
By the way, it's not me this year.
You deserve it.
Darn it.
You deserve it.
No, and it's that way. I mean, I was lucky to win the Chamber Award this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's fabulous.
but it's one of those things like, when I'm sitting there writing the Today in History column or rewriting obituaries, I think that no one's paying attention. And then you stand up in front of 200 people and you get recognized for the work you're doing. It's really incredible, and it's one of those things I think is unique about this community.
It is.
And with the Salisbury Award for you, it was deflected. Oh no, this isn't me. This is the Magi Fund. But we all knew that it was Bonnie who keeps this thing going.
Well, it's very kind of you.
So tell me more about Joseph House. What do they do?
Joseph House is an organization that meets the needs of the impoverished, the poor in the community, without any regard for race, creed, whatever. And the need is never too large or too small for them to tackle it. They have a crisis intervention center at Joseph House over on Boundary Avenue, where individuals may come and seek help, whatever their need might be. I would say that probably the majority of the individuals that come to the Joseph House are seeking some financial help with utility bills. Frequently, they're going to have their electricity turned off or their gas or their water because they cannot pay those bills. Or worse yet, they have an eviction notice and they're going to be evicted from their home. And so the Joseph House will come to their aid, meet with the landlord or the utility company, and help that individual work through this. The Joseph House Center does not hand out money to an individual. They pay whatever the need is to the entity that the bill is due to. So they're not handing out funds to just to give somebody some spending money. They're really working to make life better for the individual. And so while the Christian shelter is providing housing for the homeless, Joseph House is working to keep individuals from becoming homeless.
Right.
But they will help with medicines, transportation, and then of course clothing,
Yeah.
whatever the need is. If you can think of a need and take it to Joseph House, they will tackle that need.
I remember Sister Mary Liz was coming to town. What year was it? 87, 86, 84? Yeah, but going to county council meeting and saying we're going to open this this facility, and Henry Parker saying, well, we don't have any needy poor people here. We're just fine. I mean, you can open if you want, but you're not going to get any business. And when they opened it, the line was down the street. I mean, there was a need that the people here didn't recognize, but Sister Mary Elizabeth and the Little Sisters did.
Yes, and she when she set up her shop, she was squatting on what became Mount Air's property over on Boundary Avenue. And one of the great joys of Magi is that we got to know David Pogge, who at the time was president of Mount Air, and facilitated Mount Air giving that property to Joseph House so they could stop squatting and become owners. And then Mount Air not only gave them the property, but has provided tremendous help with their buildings and their operations and all that. So yeah, Mount Air is a fabulous organization.
Right. You were also recognized by the Community Foundation?
The Magi Fund got the Henson
Right.
Award for Nonprofit Excellency, which again was a huge honor for the Magi Fund. We said, I'm not sure how we can compete with the other fabulous nonprofits in Salisbury and the area. They do such amazing work. So when it was announced that the Magi Fund had been chosen as the recipient in 2004, I believe, we were thrilled. It was again just a huge honor for the Magi Fund to be recognized. And when I say the Magi Fund, Greg, I am talking about anyone and everybody that has had any part in what we've done for the last 23 years. The Magi Fund isn't Bonnie Luna or the small steering committee. It really is thousands of individuals. When you think almost every year there have been in the neighborhood of 400 or more individuals that have participated in the Magi Choral Festival, either as singers or backstage or advertising in our program book. And I failed to say that not only do we have corporate sponsors, we have truly the most beautiful program of any event that takes place in Salisbury. And so we have a huge number of dedicated advertisers that place an ad in our program book. When you put together the huge number of businesses, individuals in this community who have supported and been part of Magi, the Magi Fund belongs to the community. It really does belong to every person that's ever had a part in it. And which brings to mind something really fun, is back in 1994, when we had our first Magi Choral Festival, we had the children's choir, which was made up solely of children from the Wicomico County Public Schools, but we also had the high schools alternated performing, Bennett, Parkside, and Wicomico High Schools. There was a 3-year cycle, and they came and performed, their choirs came and performed, as well as Salisbury University and UMES.
Wow.
And so now, 23 years later, we have the children of those individuals who performed many years ago. And we're probably, with some of those high school and college children, we could be getting close to having grandchildren. So it's the second generation of children now participating in the Magi Choral Festival.
How terrific. You and your great husband, Louis Luna, very educated people, smart people. You've lived in the metropolitan areas, done some great work for the government. You're from West Virginia. You could live anywhere, Bonnie. Why do you live in Salisbury? Why do you love Salisbury?
Salisbury is a special place, and I will tell you that my husband, Louis, loves Salisbury probably more than anybody that I can think of. He thinks Salisbury is the greatest place on earth. When I moved here, when Louis and I got married and moved here in 1992, Salisbury was just some place that I either came to shop because I lived in Ocean Pines, or I passed through on my way either to or from someplace else. So I didn't know a whole lot about Salisbury, but from the very first few months that I lived here and I got to know the people, it is a special place. It is an incredibly warm, friendly, giving. Well, giving. I think if there's any one word that would describe Salisbury, it would be giving. The most generous individuals that anywhere I know of. Just wonderful people who love the Lord, who love the community, who share their lives on a whole scale of different ways. So yeah, Salisbury is home. I'm pretty sure it probably always will be.
Well, Bonnie, you've inspired all of us to give, and you're terrific, and I'm just honored that you would come on my show today and talk about this. Thank you so much.
We have tickets available at all the branches of First Shore Federal Savings and Loan, and those branches are in Delaware, Millsboro,
Civic Avenue,
Fruitland, Snow Hill, Berlin,
and the big
Ocean
one
Pines,
downtown.
Big ones.
Right, the one at Ocean Pines, right.
Yeah, so they have branches all over the shore. So folks can go to First Shore Federal and purchase tickets, or they can go to the Country House right here in Salisbury on East Main Street. Country House is an outlet for our tickets. If anyone wants a ticket and they can't get to an outlet, all they have to do is call me. I'll make arrangements to either hold tickets for folks at the will call window and they can pick them up at the concert, or I'll give them instructions on how they can mail a check in and have tickets mailed back out to them.
You're so terrific. Thanks for being here today.
Oh my goodness, thank you, Greg. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for this program which informs the community. We're just blessed. So God bless you, and
Thank
really,
you, Bonnie.
God bless Salisbury.
Thank you. I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another great edition of 101 right here on Pack 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.